Bumble is back, both as our podcast sponsor and to help you find love. Honestly, dating can feel intimidating, but Bumble is definitely making it easier. Sometimes all you need is a different perspective or a little bit of guidance, which is exactly why Bumble has launched its new coaching hub. This update offers support and tips from experts, and my friends are loving it so far. For the love of love, give Bumble another shot. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday and sometimes Fridays. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. Okay, the only update that I have for you guys is just a little high stakes news. So if you didn't listen to last week's episode, then you might not know that they now do weekly mini episodes where they dive into the biggest feuds of the week, like celebrity pop culture feuds of the week, kind of like Mini Scroll, but specifically for celebrity beef. I keep calling them mini beef, and the girls are like, it's called The Grill. And I'm like, I think mini beef, it just rolls off the tongue. Mini Scroll, mini beef. Anyways, so they're going to do one of those every single week, and then they're still going to do 2 deep dives a month. So you guys are going to be getting 6 episodes from them a month, and this is the first week where you are getting 2 episodes from them. All right, let's get into the stories for today. But before I do, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Please Spotify star rate us. We're trying to get to 1,000 Spotify star ratings by the end of the year. Okay, the first story that I have for you guys is I'm going to break down the Group 7 meme and how people are combining the Group 7 meme with the Louvre getting robbed. So 2 trends are literally sweeping TikTok: Group 7 and get ready with me to rob the Louvre. People are intertwining these in the most insane ways. So Group 7, to start, is a viral in-joke that started from musician Sophia James. Sophia released a new song called So Unfair, and to promote it on TikTok, she decided to try and take on the algorithm, where she posted several videos in a row to see which one would get the most traction. Her videos were basically like, if you see this, you're in Group 1. If you see this, you're in Group 2, all the way up until Group 7. Group 7 is simply the video that got the most traction. It got the most views. It had 8 million views in just a couple of days, and it's, just absolutely exploded because being in Group 7 has become this in-joke, like I said. I mean, an in-joke amongst millions, but still, everybody is joking that Group 7 is elite, Group 7 is superior, and now users have merged Group 7 memes with jokes about the Louvre being robbed. So I'm sure you guys have seen, but yesterday, the Louvre in Paris was robbed, and people are combining Group 7 with heist jokes, being like, robbers are definitely part of Group 7. Get ready with me to rob the Louvre as part of Group 7. People are doing fit checks, like what I would wear if I was going to rob the museum. It's truly insane. It's peak TikTok brain rot humor, and I love it. So that's an explainer on Group 7. If you guys have seen Group 7 everywhere, that's what it means. It's really just this very simple in-joke. Okay, the next story that I have for you guys is I wanted to talk about the Sombr TikTok fan backlash and what's been going on with him. I wanted to say Annabelle told me on Monday to cover this story, but I didn't know what she was saying because obviously she has an Australian accent. I've lived in Australia for almost 10 years. My husband is Australian. Tons of my friends, colleagues are Australian, but I don't know. I was hearing her say samba, like the dance. And I was like, okay, are you talking about Dancing with the Stars? And I was just like, yeah, okay, maybe. But I already have 3 stories, no worries. No, she was saying Sombr, like the singer, the musician. And so today I was like, oh my God, is that what you were referring to? Because people have been asking us now to cover it. And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, dead. Okay, so the newly viral singer Sombr, whose real name is Shane Boos, has found himself at the center of a TikTok debate after a fan posted a review of one of his concerts, and he proceeded to respond, and people have really turned on him for his response. Sombr has 2 really viral singles, Back to Friends and Undressed, and because of this, he's built quite a culty fan base online. Earlier this week, a TikToker named Meg, who is apparently 25 years old, that's important, made a video reviewing his show, his tour that she recently went to, and she described it as, quote, one of the worst experiences of my life.
So excited to see this performance. By far genuinely the worst concert I've ever been to in my life for a multitude of reasons. But I'm going to explain to you why, if you're over the age of 16, you should not spend your money on a Sombr concert.
She said it was, quote, the closest to a middle school dance I've ever been since I was in middle school. And she said that the only adults in the room appeared to be parents of young fans, plus her and her boyfriend. This actually reminds me of something that happened in my real life. It wasn't to me, but two of my friends, a couple, went to the Alex Warren concert recently in Sydney, like just a few weeks ago. And I was asking my friend, like, how was it? And she was like, it was okay. It was just like a lot of families and young kids. Like, it was mostly just full of young kids. And I was like, well, yeah, he's a TikToker. He was part of the Hype House. He's also really young. And she had no idea. Like, she just knew him from The Ordinary, you know, his giant song. She had no idea that he was a TikToker. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, of course this audience is so young. But she literally had no idea. And she was like, yeah, it was a little bit weird. And they also left early because Meg, she said that she left early from this concert. So she said basically she found there was like humor throughout the concert and she found it to be really immature. She said at one point he made a 6'7" joke, which we know is like a Gen Alpha joke basically. She said he hosted like a somber dating show segment where young fans were encouraged to call their toxic ex on stage. She called it cringe. She also said a lot of his jokes felt inappropriate given the age of his audience. And yes, she said she left before it ended. So this went really viral, and people for the most part were actually on Sombr's side. And then he responded in his own TikTok, calling this whole situation TikTok drama.
I totally respect people having opinions, but I am a 20-year-old artist, freshly 20. And if you're 25 years old and you're gonna come to my concert and not expect people younger than you to be there when I, the artist, am 5 years younger than you, it's just a skill issue. Also, like the jokes thing, like you had to have known about my online presence before coming to my concert. I mean, anyone who knows me knows I've never uttered a serious word in my life. And also, I make jokes for 5 minutes of the concert and the rest is music. Like, live a little, enjoy life.
He also said at one point that everyone's welcome at his shows, despite being like, if you expect people to be your age, if you're coming to my show at the ancient age of 25 years old, like that's a skill issue. Insane. So ironic. So yes, basically just full clapping back. Meg has since responded, saying she's received more backlash over this concert saga than for any of her political posts, which is what she usually posts. Okay, so I'm not super across Samba. I had heard his viral songs, obviously, but I literally only just discovered who he is through this situation. I've seen some mixed things online. I've seen that he over-sexualizes himself. He like grabs his crotch while performing. He gets his fans to bark at him, apparently. He calls himself daddy to them while they're all really young, right? They're tweens, they're teens. But then I've seen other people say, well, like it's not really his fault that his audience is so young. He doesn't market himself as a tween performer. He's not like a Disney star. You know, he's not trying to intentionally appeal to that audience. That's just who he's found. And he shouldn't change his performance style because of his audience, because that's not who he's trying to appeal to. However, I guess now with this situation, maybe you could argue that he actually does want to appeal to people who are under 20, so tweens and teens, after saying that 25 is basically ancient and they shouldn't be going to a show. Might I note that anyone who's in their mid-20s, late 20s, even early 30s, you know, like we're the ones with disposable income to support your career, to go to your show, to buy your merch. Like most of us don't have kids yet, maybe not mortgages yet. Like those are the people that can afford to actually support you in your endeavors. Now, as someone who is a lot older than 20 and 25, I will say there definitely is a difference between those two ages. But at the end of the day, the more distance that you get from like your early to mid 20s, the more you look back on it and it's like, yeah, there might be a lot of life that's lived between 20 and 25. But in terms of who you are as a person, when I could look back now, it's almost like 10 years ago for me. I'm like, okay, I was a baby in both of those instances. Both of those ages are just like total babies compared to the rest of your life. And I fear for Sombr, this was truly the least PR savvy thing he could have done. I know he's young, I know he's new to fame, but criticism, even if it feels targeted, even if it feels nasty, is unfortunately part of the game. in this social media ecosystem if you want to be a famous artist. I'm not saying it's necessarily right, but it is part of it. And he got so much success and fame from TikTok. So at the end of the day, like that's where people are going to be talking about you. It's a double-edged sword. You know, unfortunately, the benefits of having a platform like TikTok, being able to be discovered so quickly, have your songs go viral, all of that has made it infinitely easier in some ways to reach what he has reached. But the downside of it, a negative review of your concert could go absolutely viral, and now everyone's talking about how your audience is like 12 years old. But it seems like he wants his audience to be 12, so I don't really know. Anyways, the next story that I have for you guys is I'm gonna break down the Kira Cousins fake pregnancy saga. This is really sad. I mean, I do believe there's a lot of mental health stuff going on in this story, so keep that in mind while I tell it. So Kira Cousins is a 22-year-old from Scotland. She's going viral right now for faking a pregnancy, faking a birth, and faking having a baby with a reborn doll. So if you're not familiar, reborn dolls are very expensive, life-looking dolls that are created to very much look and feel like a real baby. Some of them also can move, which apparently Kira's did. And I believe the main purpose of reborn dolls is for women who have experienced infant loss and miscarriage. So this is how the story goes. Kira allegedly fell pregnant shortly after she started dating her boyfriend, and apparently the baby's father and family weren't super supportive because they were not dating for very long. Kira continues on with the pregnancy. She's posting about it online, including her baby shower, scans. She has a visible bump growing. A few months into her pregnancy, she even posts about how the baby has a heart defect. And then Kira announces that on October 10th, she had a baby. She had a baby girl named Bonnie Lee. Kira apparently told a friend that there were tensions between her and the baby's father, so she decided to give birth alone. Suspicions arose when Kira took Bonnie to meet Bonnie's dad, so like the baby's dad. And the baby's dad's mom noticed that the baby was cold and wasn't moving. So apparently Kira played along and was like, I'm gonna rush the baby to the hospital. And then she told them that the hospital had discharged them, but that the baby, Bonnie, has health issues. Kira was introducing this baby, again, it was a doll, this baby to like everyone, like her family, you know, the baby's dad's mom, her work friends parents as well. And in all of these situations, it seems like it was the parents who kept questioning like what's going on here. I mean, presumably because the parents have had more interactions with babies than like the 22-year-olds in this story. So yes, all of this was a doll, okay? There was no actual physical baby. So all of this exploded on social media after Kira's cousin, Neve, exposed the lies on social media and included receipts. Basically, the lies about the baby came to light after Kira's mom grew suspicious and she like broke into Kira's room, found the doll, and was like, what the fuck is going on? Neve said everybody believed Kira. She had a gender reveal, she posted scan photos, and even said the baby had a hole in its heart. Then she texted me saying the baby was born. We were all so happy. Okay, so there were mixed reports about how Kira responded to this because there are so many fake accounts right now popping up trying to get in on this engagement, like fake accounts pretending to be her. So it's unclear exactly how she responded. Some media outlets are reporting that Kira posted admitting it was a hoax and said she had no real reason to do it. She just lied and never was pregnant, never had a baby. And then others are saying that in her apology post, she said she did it because she had a miscarriage. What seems to be reported across the board is that Kira is defending her family, saying they had no idea. Like they bought her thousands of pounds worth of baby stuff. She is claiming they fully believed that it was real. So yes, even though it is wild to think that her boyfriend, her mom, like her family, her friends that she's apparently close with, had no idea, never saw her stomach during this time, anything. I guess at the end of the day, like she was clearly isolating herself. You know, if she was able to do something like this, she obviously was isolating herself from people. I do believe that they didn't know. But yeah, everybody's like, this is definitely the next Netflix documentary. That's why I said at the beginning, I feel like there is definitely some mental health stuff going on here. But yes, that is the update on that. That is the latest on that. Anyways, guys, that's it for Mini Scroll today. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.